very good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back here at the Hydrogen and Fuel Cells 2022. We're here to discuss the future of hydrogen. You're invited to have a seat. The drinks are free, also the information is free, so yes, you can sit down and relax. Have a little afternoon talk with me. We are going to discuss the potential of renewables and enabling global decarbonization. For that, please welcome with me on stage current CEO of Nel Hydrogen Electrolyser, Mr. André Løkke. Welcome on stage.
Thank you very much.
So, Nel is a company that has been with us for many years, and I must say, they always choose the best titles for their presentations. So I'm excited. This presentation's title is Unlocking the Potential of Renewables and Enabling Global Decarbonization. We need a little bit of decoding for this title, please.
Yeah, so this was pretty easy because unlocking the potential of renewables and enable global decarbonization is the mission of Nel. So the reason why it is our mission is because we believe that hydrogen is the key component, the bridge between renewables on the upstream and all of these industrial and mobility applications downstream. And if you don't have this fantastic molecule, if you don't turn renewables into this molecule, you will not be able to decarbonize. So if we can then develop technologies and offer equipment to our clients and customers, which makes it easy and cheap to make green renewable, we will unlock the potential of renewables, which is the first part of the mission. We will allow more renewables to be installed and implemented and enter into the grid or whatever you want to do it. And we will also then tap into these new markets, CO2-free steel, ammonia, many of these markets that you are not able to electrify directly. So, you need a molecule because you can't electrify directly. So that's our mission. Unlock the potential of renewable and enable global decarbonization.
So we got your mission, and you already gave some peek of what you actually do. But for those in the audience who don't know Nel, could you give a brief introduction?
Yeah. So we've been around for a very, very long time. We have a stand just behind here, and one of my colleagues on the stand, she is here now for the 27th year. So we've been around. We've actually been around a lot longer than that. We started back in we originated from 1927. And back in 1927, we basically did what we're doing now. We took large quantities of renewable power, which was stuck up in the mountain in Norway or in the fjord. We developed technology to convert it into hydrogen, convert it into ammonia, convert it into fertilizer, and then we exported the fertilizer across the world. Basically, at that time, it was global world hunger. That was the issue. So we were basically enabling, helping world hunger with converting renewables up in Norway through electrolyzers to fertilizer. So, now it is not world hunger. Now it is, we have a planet which is choking with CO2 and other emissions. So now there is a new challenge, but we use the same technology and the same competence, same skill sets. Obviously, the technology is much better now, more efficient, cheaper, faster, better, but the fundamental principles are the same.
So from fighting world hunger, now 2022, to unlocking the potential of renewables and enabling global decarbonization. How do you exactly do that?
Well, the key for us is to have the best and most cost-effective technology. So basically, our success is the success of our clients, our customers. If they can produce green renewable hydrogen or fuel their trucks with cheap equipment producing high-quality output, then we are allowing our customers to achieve their business case, and we will then be a success through our own customers. So, for example, just across from our stand, we have the stand of Iberdrola. Iberdrola is a huge producer of renewables, obviously across the world, but have a very big foothold. On their stand, they have a model of their brand new green hydrogen production facility in Portolano, Spain, which they developed together with Fertiberia, and that's our equipment. So we take our equipment, we make Iberdrola successful in achieving their green targets, their cost reduction targets, their CO2 reduction targets. And if they are successful, we will be successful.
That is very true. So you just mentioned so you are producing electrolyzers. Is there anything else along the hydrogen value chain that where you're supporting companies with?
Yeah, so we have a broad technology portfolio. We produce electrolyzers and fueling stations. So electrolyzer, we have both the alkaline platform and the PEM platform. We have installed equipment in almost 80 countries around the world. I think we are approaching 4,000 systems we have sold for many, many years. On fueling stations, we have less of a history. We have about 15 years history in fueling stations. We are selling fueling stations for cars, trucks, buses, more and more heavy-duty transportation. And we've sold equipment, I believe, to 14, 15 different countries, about 120 stations-ish. The biggest market we have on fueling stations is California, Korea, and many parts of Europe. On electrolyzers, it's much more diversified. It's basically all over the place. We have equipment sitting almost everywhere.
If you in the audience have a question, just let me know, wave a little bit so I get your attention so that you can ask the question. I have prepared a lot of questions, so you need to get ahead of me if you want to ask a question. Just let me know. I just want to throw that in between. All right. So we now know that Nel is active in many markets, not only with electrolyzers but also with fueling stations. I would like to know a little bit more about your personal view on hydrogen markets, because we're here in 2022. You mentioned that Nel has been with us for many years. Where do you think, in which direction the market will go? Could you draw a picture, maybe in, let's say, 5 years? What are the key successors in the hydrogen markets?
Well, let me maybe then start by talking a bit about how we support our mission, unlocking the potential renewables and enable global decarbonization. And the biggest part there is to reduce cost. So we need to reduce cost of renewables, cost of equipment. Cost of renewables is already going down. Sometimes the price goes up and down, but forget the price, cost is going down. Cost of solar has never been cheaper, cost of wind has never been lower. The fundamental cost of setting up a wind power plant and a solar power plant. So we have that wind in our back. Yeah? That's basically the biggest cost element of producing green molecules is green electrons. So that's all good. So what can we do as a company? Well, we can cut the cost of equipment. So basically, back in 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago, we set a target. We said publicly, we started sharing all of our cost reduction targets, and we said by 2025 we want to be able to deliver equipment where you can produce green renewable hydrogen at $1.50 per kilo. And why is $1.50 per kilo the key magic number? That's because if you can produce green renewable at $1.50 per kilo, it's the same as fossil. You'll basically be outcompeting the fossil hydrogen head to head. So that's the magic number, and then we have been reporting on this ever since. And that obviously sets the direction for the whole organization. When you have a target like that, publicly stated, it sets the pace and the targets for the whole organization. And that means, so then, how do we do it? Well, it means that we need to reduce the cost of equipment down to a quarter. Cost of equipment down to a quarter. And how do you do that? Well, the main contribution of that is scaling up. You need to scale up and you need to automate and robotize. On the 20th of April last month, in April, 20th of April this year, we kicked off our fully automated production plant up in Herøya, completely robotized. At initial line 500 megawatt, potential to expand to 2 gigawatt. And if you want to see a video, you can go into our web pages. You will see a video of the new line. Completely revolutionary. It has never been done before in this industry.
So, if I understand you correctly, so there's only robots that are building an electrolyzer,
That's right.
and Nel is the first company doing that.
That's right.
Okay, so we can just lay back and wait until all the electrolyzers are produced and then go sell them. Okay.
No, but I think it's and that means that the equipment will be cheap, but more importantly, it will also be very high quality and consistent quality. Yeah? Because that's the same. That's also equally important. We've never seen as good quality, consistent material as coming out of that factory, and it's not only the robots itself, the way they do, but also the way we work, the way that we work with continuous improvement, the fact that we have a digital twin of the factory. We can play around with introducing new production concept in the digital world before we move it into the real world. So we have a completely new production process to improve our production on a continuous basis. So that's a key enabler to make our clients successful.
That is so interesting. Also, if I have a look at Industry 4.0, so that is definitely a project that I would consider as automated and promising for the future.
That's right. That's right. And that's kind of the key. And maybe my entry into answering your question was a bit long, but I think it's a key enabler, because when you are able then to build green renewable hydrogen plant at this cost, you can then tackle issues like CO2-free steel. If you are then a steel producer and you have the unfortunate position of being stuck on, using coal or natural gas or oil as your input, you are then able to transition that away. You can transition it away by not taking. You may need to take a penalty in the beginning because you're small scale, but you can then really do it without being hit. Same with ammonia. If you are an ammonia producer like Fertiberia, which is partnering with Iberdrola, they can now suddenly make green renewable hydrogen pretty much at the same cost as fossil hydrogen. So you can then decarbonize without being penalized financially. Same with green methanol. Same with cement. All of these large markets which contribute massively to CO2 emissions all over the world. And that's only the industrial side. Then you have all of the mobility applications. Cars, you will see also battery electric in addition to hydrogen electric, but on trucks, on buses, you will see more and more hydrogen electric. On marine applications, ferries, fast ferries, you are no way around it. You have to see a significant portion of hydrogen electric. When you come to aerospace, clearly you can't fly a plane full of passengers from Asia to Europe on battery electric. That doesn't work. So you need hydrogen, or you need some sort of hydrogen. Hydrogen in the form of liquid or some other form factor. And the same with the container ship. Deep sea shipping, you can't imagine that with batteries. You have to have an energy carrier which is lighter, like hydrogen. So we want to do our part and enable all of these applications to basically flourish so that we can switch out all the fossil.
So we have the applications, we have a market. We are at the market at a point where we're already cutting down the costs. The demand is there. And there's one very important factor in the driving of the hydrogen future, which is politics. And I want to talk to you also a little bit about the regulatory framework, because you're not only the CEO of Nel, but also the president of the Hydrogen Europe. What is Hydrogen Europe?
Hydrogen Europe is an industry association having approximately, I think we have more than 350 members now. Most of the companies in this hall is members. They're all the big energy companies like Shell and BP and Total, but also big mobility companies, like Daimler, Toyota, Hyundai, Aerospace, both Airbus is a member, they're also sitting on the board. And then you have all of these industrial companies that are members and the technology providers. What we do is that we are obviously working for our members and hopefully contributing to the rapid development of hydrogen in Europe, promoting European players. And a lot of the work that we've seen lately in terms of the Fit for 55 package, the Repower Europe containing a lot of hydrogen, I wouldn't say is our, we shouldn't take all the credit for that, but at least we have contributed to help the politicians to understand what is actually available to, in terms of tools. Because sometimes the politicians don't understand exactly what are the tools being available. So we are helping them to understand these are the tools that you can actually now use that are available here in Europe.
So what are the chances, but also maybe the hurdles that we have in terms of political framework?
Well, there are some broad elements. I mean, everyone that has been on this stage talk about that the market is booming, but it's booming in terms of a lot of people are talking about a lot of projects and there's a lot of noise, but still we need to see more concrete being poured. We need to see more steel being welded. We need to see more action on the ground. So there are some key triggers that can help that get off the ground. I mean, you can't cut cost of an empty factory. There needs to be material flowing through the line to be able to get the cost down. So that's one element. I think one of the key topics that we talked about earlier, it's a bit complicated, but it's the delegated act on additionality. So it's a principle that has been discussed in Europe, where you argue that you cannot install an electrolyzer if you don't also install wind or solar. Which means that you need to also care about not only permitting for your electrolyzer plant, but also for the permitting on the wind and solar. So there is a timing issue which basically complicates things. So we've argued that you can't be responsible for all of that. It will be a major bottleneck in getting things off the ground, and there is still a discussion there ongoing about exactly where they will land. So that's some of these bottlenecks are still there. We need to chip away and remove them, and obviously it will keep us busy for still some time.
Yeah, I think it's a great idea, but maybe not at this right moment.
Exactly.
It's too early to have this.
Exactly.
It feels more like a punishment than an opener.
You can worry about it after 2030, when the industry needs to get off the ground. We haven't really gotten off the ground yet.
Yeah.
So yeah.
There's still a lot of trial and error. Many companies trying things out. Many new methods also being presented here at the fair. So that is something I think way too early to, yeah. So back to Nel, because I think we made a little off dive to the Hydrogen Europe. I would like to know a little bit more about the expansion plans, but I think we also need to talk about the elephant in the room. You're current CEO, but you are going to take a different responsibility. Is that right?
Yeah. It's not really so much an elephant. It's the mouse in the corner. No, it's been publicly known for quite some time. I will transition to the board. I will be CEO of Nel for another month. Tomorrow I'll have my successor here. We will run around and I will introduce him to as many as I can. And then I will hopefully support the company very well in the board position. And I will obviously keep working in Hydrogen Europe and supporting the whole industry. Maybe I will have even more time working for the whole industry, supporting the whole industry, which will also be good. So that is not very controversial. I've been in this position quite a while now, and I think it's a good time now to do a switch.
Okay, so what is the content of the package that you will hand over? What are the plans, expansion plans of Nel?
Well, it is going to be a company which has, you know, a leading position on PEM and alkaline, also a very, very strong position on fueling stations. We have a bank account full of cash. We have a fully automated factory which you can copy-paste all over the world. I'm not saying the work is done, but I'm saying it's a good foundation for a continued development of this company. So it's not like I'm running away from something which is fragile. It's really, you know, a robust setup for continued progress.
Unfortunately, we are at the end of our little interview here, but if you in the audience have questions, then you can visit the Nel booth. It's right across. If you all look around, you see the booth and you already see the color, which is purple. Other than that, it's B46. So thank you very much, Jon. It was a pleasure to have you here. I wish you all the best for this fair.
Thank you.
I believe 2022 is very important at this fair, so more networking than ever. So I hope to see you all at the networking evening. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone.